Welcome, welcome. This is Gull Khan, your money mindset expert. And today we're so excited. We have the amazing, the wonderful Dave Rolfe. Welcome, Dave.
Welcome, Gull. Thank you. Really
Thank you.
like this. This
uh,
is going to be exciting.
Thank you so much for joining us, Dave. Dave, everyone's heard your intro. They know how fabulous you are, but please, in your own words, tell everybody what it is that you do.
Well, right now I'm a teacher, a mentor. I've been an author. I've written a couple of books. I have my own business that I've had for the last, I would say, 35 years. I'm a family man. I'm trying to live the latter part of my life in abundance and with a lot of fun. And mainly what I really like to do is help others figure out their way, by providing knowledge and education and mentoring to get them from point A to point B.
Wonderful. So, talk us through your journey. Where did everything start for you? We can pick at any point in life where you think is was a turning point in life or that is relevant.
Well, you're going to find this quite interesting and maybe a little bit humorous, but I was living in Vancouver, Canada, and I was going through the opportunity pages, the
Mm,
advertisement pages, trying to figure out something to do because I tried working for somebody else and that just didn't work for
mm.
me. It was tough. And I found this product that came from California. It was called Nature's Nougats, and it was a health food bar. And
Okay.
at that time, the health food industry was just getting started. And so I imported this bar up to Canada and so on and so forth. And I went around from store to store. And I went into this store and there was a lady behind the counter. And my spiel was this. I said, "Hello, I'm in the neighborhood and I saw your store and I've got this product that maybe you'd like to put on your counter that would add some cash flow to what you're doing." And she said, "Oh, okay, that sounds interesting." And then all of a sudden, there's this beaded doorway down the hall, and this guy comes out, spreads the beads, and he says, "Wow, that was the best presentation I ever heard." And I said, flattery. I was thinking to myself, this is pretty cool. He says, "Is that the only product that you have?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, how would you like to sell hundreds of products?" Well, my mind just went, "Whoa, what's
Mm.
this?" And he invited me to a meeting, and I went to the meeting, and I was the only person in the audience, and I was sitting in the chairs, and I was listening to the spiel, and the guy said this. His name was Jim Jens. And he said, "Dave, how would you like to own a Coca-Cola machine on every street and every corner, and every time somebody bought a Coke, you made a nickel?" I have to say, all I could see were piles of nickels.
Yeah.
I mean, just piles of nickels everywhere. And that thought resonated for me and created this lifelong journey. And the company that he was representing at the time was called Amway. And so
Ah, so multi-level marketing.
yes, so I jumped in with both feet, didn't understand what the heck I was doing. I was a young buck in my early 20s and, trying to figure out, and I failed miserably. I mean, as a matter of fact, I failed 13 times trying to make this business work. And every time I looked at it and every time I did the business, I saw Coke machines and I got them on every corner of every street. How do I take that idea and make that a reality and have it come through? Well, it wasn't until 1990, after a devastating business failure, that I got involved again. I thought it wasn't going to work, but I got involved again. And in 1990, I jumped in with this company. But this time, some very interesting things happened. I was older, I had a family, I was more experienced, and I looked in a different way. I looked at how did it work? Why did it work? What did I have to do? And who
Mm.
do I have to learn from to make it work for me? And then with that, and that being said, the journey began. And, within 10 years, I went from dead broke to being a multimillionaire. So, I made it work by doing those things. And then at that time, I got frustrated with the industry because the industry is fraught with, it's the personality driven business.
Yeah.
So it's the guy at the top, what he says, this is the way it goes, do what I say, you'll win. But it's really not how it works. And so it confused people, and many people didn't make it work because they couldn't understand how to be like him.
Mm.
And it was about being who you are. and understanding what you can do. And then I wrote my first book, which was called Vested Interest, and published in a number of languages and went all over the world and became a bestseller in our industry. And then I traveled and taught for basically 20 years. Got involved with other businesses, built some other things, did investments, those kind of issues, and then got cancer. And as a
So
result
you,
of
this
getting
wait, this is
cancer,
too much. We need to break this down for a second. So let's a lot in this. Let's unpack this before we go on to because I want to hear about your
for
cancer
sure,
part in detail. But
absolutely.
before we arrive there, there's so much in your journey. So when you say you failed 13 times, what do you mean you started 13 times?
Yeah, network marketing is a business where a company comes out with a product and an idea, and then it goes and looks for people to represent that
Yeah,
product.
of course,
And then
yes.
in the social, arena,
Yeah,
people attract people who attract people. Hey, I got this deal. I got this thing going. Come on and check this out. Check this out. And this was before the internet, or this was before smartphones, and the
yeah,
only way business was done was by word of mouth.
yeah.
So, again, I didn't know what I was missing. And so I kept trying to stick the square peg in the round hole. And as a result of doing that, I kept doing the same bad things over and over and over and not getting any results. But at the same time, not getting corrected, not getting tweaked as to, what could make it work.
So did you try 13 times with one company or 13
No,
different
13
companies?
different companies,
So 13 different multi-level marketing companies.
you know.
Right. Wow. That's
Yeah.
determination. That's determination. And did you have a full-time job at the same time, or was this something your main?
No, I went from one to the other, and this was, I did some gigs in between things. I got jobs, and as I was basically a sales guy. So my career started with Mutual of Omaha Life Insurance. And so I knocked on doors up in Canada. Then I got into Yellow Page advertising. I sold automobiles, and, it was, and the reason why was this. Somebody told me a long time ago that everybody is sold whatever they've got. And if
Hmm.
you can put yourself between the manufacturer and the purchaser, and you've got the right product, you can write your own ticket.
Hmm.
And it was a matter of, okay, well, how do I understand that? How do I use that information to get me motivated? Now, in the insurance business, it was hard sales. So it was knocking on the door, sitting the guy down, making your presentation, and then, handling the objections and getting the sale. I hated that. It wasn't my personality. I just hated it. And then, I wanted to go to a softer area. Now, interestingly enough, for me, that's network marketing. It is the best arena that there possibly
I'm going to
is.
stop you for a second. So I understand that point, but the reason why I'm drilling into this is you've got an example that many people who are probably listening to this call have gone through. They've tried multi-level marketing, or they've tried Amazon FBA or whatever else, and affiliate marketing, and the whole arrays of new opportunities that have come our way in the last 10, 15 years. But they've been unsuccessful for one reason or the other. Now, how old were you when this happened, and how did you dig in? Where did you dig in to get that confidence to try again and again and again and again? That's what I'm after because your mindset's amazing, and I want to unpack that.
Okay. So when I would go to events put on by the companies, they'd march people across the stage getting these huge checks.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I said, I want that. So
Okay.
this is part of it. I want what they've got. How do I get what they've got? And that's what I needed to learn for who I was.
Right.
And now, I'm going to say this, what we don't do anything different than any other business in the world. So if you've got a product, you market your product.
Yeah.
How do you make money? When people buy your product.
Yeah.
How do you expand? When lots of people buy your product. How many different ways can you expand? Well, you can, write books on that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So what I found was that people had the hardest time working by themselves, for themselves as entrepreneurs.
Yes,
And
100%.
and so that was
And not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur. I will add this. I've seen that a lot of people have the desire, they want the glamour that comes with being an entrepreneur, but the hardship, the sacrifices that come with it, personal, family, financial, peace of mind of most the more important one, and the roller coaster ride, which doesn't matter how brilliant, intelligent, and wonderful you cannot beat life. You're gonna have to go through the turbulence, ups and downs, ebb and flow of life. If you don't have the character to be able to deal with those low spells, you're going to really burn yourself out. That's my observation.
very true, very true. And the other aspect that I saw, okay, so I hit the top of our company and was the fifth largest organization. My organization did well over $1 billion, but the company at that time, and I helped with that, probably did $4 or $5 billion worth of business. So we were riding this really nice wave. And so
Mm,
I took off for 20 years, and I still have today a residual income from all that work. But the idea when I came back after 18 years, the internet was going full tilt boogie. People were enamored with many different ways. This shift of understanding education had changed completely.
yeah.
And what I came to understand, and this is where I made another change in my career and my desire, was that people didn't know how to communicate what they had. And that
Mm,
was the biggest problem. So it's kind of like this. I listened to one of your podcasts before about this gal who solved her credit problem. And on another podcast, I say, well, when did we get educated on credit?
We don't. We don't.
We don't.
Money is not taught.
Exactly. We don't get educated on it. And where did you ever get educated on doing network marketing?
Yeah.
You didn't. And usually the way it worked was I'd call you up and say, Gull, come on, I got this great idea. Come and join me, blah, 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 get you all excited. And you say, okay, I'll join you. What do I have to do? You sign the application, you buy some product. And then I say, if you need some help, give me a call. Well, what do you know what to call me about?
Agreed. The thing is, I'm laughing because I've done network marketing too. So in my entrepreneur journey, you can't
Yeah.
be an entrepreneur unless you've done network marketing, and I've done a couple. And one of the products I can still say it, Herbalife. I still use the products to
Yeah.
this day, but I'm a consumer. I don't sell them anymore. But that was my first experience of network marketing. Actually, no, before there was another one. I didn't join this couple opportunities before, but Herbalife is the first one I joined. And yeah, unless you have you, I think it's almost like a rite of passage as an entrepreneur. You have to have gone through a network marketing company or at least tried your hands with it. But
I'll give you
it's yeah,
a prime example of this was I had a kitchen faucet that had the bendy uh, hook on it and it pulled down and you'd have a spray unit
yeah.
and all of a sudden it's leaking and there's a big puddle of water underneath the sink on the floor and I'm thinking, oh my God, this thing's broken. So I call the company and I say to the company, okay, it's leaking. What do you do? And he said, let me send you some parts. Well, the company probably spent a good $100 and sent all these parts, came in a big box. I opened up the box to look at the parts. And then I went to exchange one of them. And what I found out was the original product was just loose. So I tightened it, no more leak. Now, it's kind of like that simple that when you know how it works and you know what to do, you can make it work.
Yeah.
If you don't, you get into confusions and go in other directions that you don't need to go.
Yeah.
And then when you don't go in the right direction, you get frustrated, you get fed up, and then here's what you say, it doesn't work.
So we can work out, how to make it, work on the pros and cons of internet marketing on money talkies. I'm more interested in your mindset. How did you, because a lot of times when life throws us down and we have a setback, and especially if you have multiple setbacks, you start losing confidence in yourself. You start losing your ability in yourself. And I appreciate you said, when you go to these company events and you had people walking on the stage and they show their checks, if you've had a number of setbacks, then you sometimes come up with the idea, well, it can work for them. I'm sure it works and can work for them. I don't know if it can work for me. So how did you think that no, it can work for them, then it means it definitely can work for me. How did you come up with that? That's mindset work, and that's what I'm after.
Okay, so that was basically an exercise of understanding how it worked. So what I was confused about was, I'm not obviously doing the right thing here.
Mm,
So I like the idea. I see that it can work. It works for this guy. I could communicate and I could tell stories. I could do all those wonderful things. But in the mechanical aspect of it, I had to learn that. And what I found out was as I was not looking in the right direction. And as a result of that, and I was in Herbalife just like you were. And I remember in I think it was 84 or 83, Mark Hughes sued the FDA commissioner on Christmas Day. And then the FDA commissioner went to the press and said how bad Herbalife was and wiped it out in the United
mm,
States, just like that one day, gone. And everything was gone. And well, I lost everything I had in that business because I didn't understand how to really make it work. Whereas the guys that had done it right stayed in and went on and became extremely successful. So my mindset was focused on I can understand, just show me what I need to understand.
mm. Okay.
And here's the in that sense, Gull, what I came to understand is that when you don't understand something, you get confused. And it's in that confusion you then grasp for other things, and then you have the hidden influence of what's going on in between your ears and past experiences, or maybe when you were a little kid, your mother said, well, you're no good, you can't do that, and all of that kind of stuff comes up to the surface, and then you look at yourself and you go you say, well, maybe I can't do this. And before this last company, I gave up. I said, I can't make this work. And I went back to doing traditional business. But and I in the traditional business, I bought a franchise for Southern California. The manufacturer goes broke, can't supply us with our product, so therefore we have to close the doors. No money, no credit. It was all used in the previous business. And then this guy calls me up and he says, Dave, there's this Japanese company that just came into town. I think you should take a look. And they're selling magnets. And I said, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Bye. Thank you very much. Click. Because you these are the kind of pitches you got. Little did I know what it was, no information, and quick judgment, and because of prior experience. Now here was the key for what you're looking for. The prior experience said no,
Yeah.
but the prior to that said yes. So what I had to do was rekindle that initial excitement that I had of having a Coke machine on every corner of every street. And I thought about that. And then I said, okay, so maybe, and of course, it's circumstance, right? So
Yep.
I lost everything I had. I have no job. I'm not employable. Where am I going to go?
Mm.
I have no choice here. Necessity is the mother of invention. We have a family and children and pets and all that kind of good stuff. And so I said, I got to find the right person. So I found a good mentor and he taught me everything that I needed to know. And phew, it took
So,
me basically 1 year to get to the top, and the rest is history.
so what I'm hearing from you is you need a mentor, and I really do believe in mentors. I
Yes.
mean, mentors in any field, any it doesn't matter what career path you take. Entrepreneurs, doctor, lawyer, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you have if you have a mentor, it cuts your learning curve sharply, and you're able
Yes.
to learn from the wisdom that's beyond your years, and that
Yes.
really helps you to move forward. I want to quickly move on because we're going to bring this episode close, but I really do want to touch on your cancer. So, when did you get cancer? What happened with that, and how did you carry on after that?
Well, I got bladder cancer. It was stage 2, and I went to the doctor, and this was really strange. I didn't feel bad. I felt normal, and they did this test, and they said you got cancer. And I said, okay, well, what do we do here?
Mm.
And he says, well, you're going to go through chemotherapy, and there'll probably be an operation. You'll have to move a few parts and go on. So that's what I did, and that was in 2018. And then it's the chemotherapy did it, but the operation took out the parts, and so here I am,
And
and it's
and
all gone.
but I mean, I want to touch upon that too. That takes a certain level of strength in mind to be able to smile and laugh and sort of move past it and just say, well, it was part of it. I dealt with it. And you were talking about like you've had to pass a driving test or something. It's you're talking in a such a blasé way, and I admire you for that. But I'm wanting to go back and think how, you have a strength of character. Where does that come from? How were you able to sort of say, okay, I'm going to do it. What needs to be done, let's do. And it's like matter of fact, okay, tell me what you need to do. Let's do it. Let's get on with it. And whereas it's got a lot of emotional baggage attached to it as well.
Yeah, here what was interesting. I didn't feel badly about having the cancer. I mean, nothing, there was no physical feeling or sensation that was going on to say, okay, man, like a headache or
Mm,
a pain or discomfort. So the first thing I did was I consulted with the experts.
mm,
And the experts told me if you do this, this, and this, you got a really good chance of handling this and taking advantage and getting rid of it. So, like my experience said, if you do this, this, and this, you can become successful.
mm,
I'll tell you another story as an antidote to this situation. I went through a divorce in my family, and I would, attorneys lock everything up, and so I had to do something else, and so I went to the internet. At that, it's just 2000. So I went to the internet, and I found this training program on the stock market. I'd never done stocks in my entire life, and it told me what to do. I learned it. I studied the course. I had nothing else to do. And it said to look for a specific criteria with a stock. And I did. And I found this stock. It was dollar, I think it was a dollar 20 or dollar 30 a share. It ended up getting to $13 a share. And I think I made a little over $1.2 million by paying attention.
mm.
So here was what I'd learned and what I experienced and what I carried forward with that was you have a situation, what is it? What is the solution to that situation? And how can I make that solution work? And then what do I need to do to make it work? And it was almost like a regiment of doing that. Same thing. I heard I think one of your guests talked about writing a book. And I remember talking to somebody else, well, how do you write a book? And he says, well, one chapter at a time, one page at
Mm.
a time, one sentence at a time, one paragraph at a time, just start. So I went through that routine and wrote a book. And now I've written two books. And now so it's all the same stuff. And it's based on, okay, in the United States, we have Thanksgiving dinner. Do you have that kind of a dinner where you are? Do you have any
Yeah.
kind of a holiday dinner that you do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Christmas, I suppose. Christmas,
Christmas.
Eid, yeah.
What's the dish? What's the favorite dish for Christmas?
Oh, in our family, roast chicken. We don't
Oh,
make turkeys, it's chicken.
do you cook?
Yes.
Okay, so if I said to you, Gull, tell me how to do a roast chicken dinner for Christmas, I bet you could just spew that off at the top of your just like that, bang, 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 and give me
The
all the
recipe.
ingredients,
Yeah, the
everything there is
recipe,
to
of
do.
course, yeah.
And then if you were the tasked to do it, there would be no hesitation
Yeah.
because all results come about from doing an activity.
Yeah.
So if you know the activity and you feel good about the activity, then you know the potential results. The rest becomes that was the mindset.
Awesome.
That was the
Awesome.
mindset.
I love that. I love that. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up. So tell us, Dave, how can we connect with you? Where can we find you on the internet?
Well, the best what you can do there's a web page I have called besmarterwithdave.com. And what I highly recommend is we just talk first before anything else. There's a thing you get, it's a free gift, and it's some success that I've had and things that I did in my life. But the key to what we do, or if you're involved and you're looking at doing that, is to have that conversation to find out where you're at with it, what you know about it, how you feel about it, all of those things, and what you have to confront in order to make it work. And that would be the best way.
Wonderful. So if you are listening to us on the podcast, the links and the other social media links for Dave will be on the show notes. And if you're watching us on YouTube, down below in the description section, we'll have the links for him to go check him out and see how he can help you build a better business. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dave. It's been fantastic talking to you. We have to have you back for Money Talkies, but today, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Gull. Really appreciate it. You have a great day too.
And thank you for listening to me and Dave there on Friday Future. I will be back with another amazing guest, finding out how they changed their life by changing their mindset. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull Khan signing off. Take care and bye for now.